Hey everybody, this is Noel from HomeQwik, and thank you for checking out one of our quick chats. Today I'm really excited to have one of the vendors that we use and his dad join me for a quick interview, learn about their business, about what they see going on in the market. We're all in this crazy real estate genre. We've all got our hands in different things, so I love talking to people that have been in the business, doing these things for a long time. So I have got John Elson with Falcon Property Inspection and Greg Elson with Desert Dragon Painting. Gentlemen, you want to say hello?
Good evening. Howdy.
So, John, we're going to start with you on the property management side. And just for context, we're doing this interview in, is it August now? August of 2021. So we just went through a really frenzied market. And John's been doing property inspection for how long, John?
Almost 20 years.
So on the home inspection, especially if you've ever bought or sold, or any of your realtors out there, you know how crucial the home inspector's role is in the whole purchasing process. And I'm sure right now, at least through this last frenzied market you've seen all kinds of funky stuff going on. People choosing, which is always a bad idea, to not even do home inspections or do them and just, we're at a point where you couldn't even ask for anything. So we'll touch on that a little bit. But John, what have you seen recently in the market with inspections?
Well, I think, the market, as we have spoken, Noel, the market for the last probably year has just not been normal. And you can look at it from any number of different points of view. Lack of inventory, I think, has driven a lot of people to maybe choose a different approach to how they're going to go through the transaction as a buyer. It's sort of, maybe they feel forced into it. One of the things that's been hardest for us is, of course, Ashley did a study, American Society of Home Inspectors, of which Greg and I are both certified inspectors, did a study, and at one point this year, we're at 25% of all home purchases in the U.S. were not having home inspections. Gosh. And that number is outrageously high. Yeah. Because the home inspector, the property inspector, is the only person that can provide an independent view of the systems and components of the home on the day that the home is inspected. And to sort of forego that is, I think, a very large mistake. But I think what's happened, we come from Illinois, and when I had my practice in Illinois, we had a 5-day inspection period with attorneys on day 5 having to get the documents.
Sure.
And so here in the 16 years that I've been in practice here, we got used to the 10-day inspection period, no attorneys. And so to be challenged in the last maybe 6 to 12 months with, well, can you do this inspection in 5 days? And in some cases, can you do it in 3 days? Extremely difficult on the property inspectors in the state, of which there are about 900 right now. And it makes it difficult for them to produce quality reports. It makes it difficult for them to get those reports to the agents on a timely basis and to their clients. And so I think from the standpoint of throughput, that's probably for us has been the number one challenge, is that either not having inspections booked or being pushed really hard on the timing of the inspection period.
So as a realtor, I know, because I was having to write these offers too, I had several investor clients during the absolute peak of the frenzy, and sellers are pretty much demanding no repairs. Some were asking us to waive the inspection. So I always said, well, we're not going to waive the inspection, but we'll basically, we know that you're not going to do anything, even if we ask for it, right? But I definitely saw a lot of listing agents inappropriately asking people to waive the inspections, and then a lot of buyers just taking bad advice on waiving it. Whether or not you're paying overvalue, let's just go back to a normal market, like you said. The home inspector is the only one who's going to check out everything, right? Your realtor is going to walk around and say, yeah, like this looks cool, check out the pool. The husband might notice a crack here and the wife's going to notice this or that, but the home inspector's getting in the roof, he's getting in the attic, he's checking out that hot water heater, all of that stuff. So I totally agree. Waiving all that stuff was crazy. I hope we don't see that be a common thing again. What kind of major issues are you running into right now when you're seeing properties under contract?
Well, a couple of days ago, we did two inspections this week for the same investors, a couple. And the first inspection that we did, first of all, our methodology is that we follow a very thorough methodology, and we use infrared thermography on every inspection. That's a thermal imaging camera.
That's cool.
So we've been using that since 2009. I'm a certified level 1 infrared thermographer, which is a mouthful, but I got into that technology because I felt that it was a way to be able to help clients better understand what was happening with their home. And it basically is a language of temperature. It identifies surface temperature, and in the hands of an experienced thermographer, you can identify things that might be something that you want to pursue. Okay. So this week we did our standard review of split temperatures, which a lot of people understand is the difference in temperature between the supply ducts and the return duct. At this time of the year, it being super hot, we're focused on cooling. When you do an inspection, you want to try to at least understand whether or not that system is performing properly. Now, the HVAC technicians use a different methodology. Our methodology is we're concerned about comfort. We're concerned about the clients living there and having consistency between the ducts in the different rooms of the home. So we actually shoot every duct, and we're comparing those temperatures against the return. So we identified the fact that the system was not performing properly. We identified the duct temperatures during cooling were 77 to 80 degrees, way above what they should be at this time of the year. And the end result was they called an HVAC technician out, and it was about $2,200. So we feel very good about saving those investors on the front end instead of finding that out after they own the home.
So to that point, AC is one that we always know we're going to look at. But when I first started getting in real estate 15 years ago, that's when the last wave of new builds was out, right? Then the market crashed. All the investors bought new builds that were new back then. Now all of those houses are 10, 12, 13 years old.
Right.
Are you seeing other issues like plumbing, wet spots behind showers, electrical? Are you seeing any of that stuff with these new build communities from 10, 12 years ago?
Well, I think that, because we're so predisposed to building stick homes, frame homes, you have some inherent problems that you wouldn't have with a brick house, which of course we don't see much of here. But
it doesn't snow here, John.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
Chicago.
Right. So I think those homes are, the 15-year-old home has experienced the same kinds of things that 15-year-old homes have in other marketplaces. I think that's when you start to see the real problems with roofing. Probably 75% of the homes that Greg and I inspect are tile roofs. Tile roofs have their own, as you know, Noel, their own predispositions. They have design flaws. They have architectural flaws. They have roof planes that go into walls. The walls are not properly coated with proper surface material, so they leak in through the walls. Sometimes people misinterpret that and they think that's a roof leak, but it's actually a roof that's causing a leak in the wall of the home, which is a little bit different. So I think some of the other systems in 15 years we haven't seen a lot of changes in plumbing
or electrical.
or electrical. PEX cross-linked polyethylene has been around for a long time.
It's holding up well.
And it's holding up well. I don't think we're seeing those things, but what we are seeing, and I'm sure you've seen this, is a really significant change in the greater Phoenix area because the infrastructure of older homes is now starting to fail. Orangeburg plumbing, concrete plumbing, lots of things that were maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago are starting to fail. So we're actually recommending for any home that's over 5 years old to do sewer scoping. Now, it's not something that we offer, so it's not, we're not upselling. But the reason that we recommend it is we've seen a tremendous number of people that have bought homes and they were not aware of where the sewer water was going when in fact it was going in the ground. It wasn't going in
the yard. It was going into the yard.
Yeah, nasty. And that's not a real expensive thing to get done either, just, to run a camera down. I think that's a great point.
Yep.
Definitely something to check out, because the last thing people think about is the pipes underneath the house.
And
right?
the average cost of repiping from the house to the street in the United States is $7,000.
Yeah.
And so to not spend $300, $400, $500 to have that done during the inspection period, if you have a home that's over 5 years old or a home that has older trees, I just think it's an error.
Yeah,
So.
that's what I was going to mention. I mean, we just moved to Arrowhead, which is all golf course and lakes, but they've got huge ficus trees. I mean, my neighbor's got a 40-foot tree. I can't imagine what those roots look like. Where before we were in the foothills and it was all mesquites and stuff that don't have quite a big of root potential.
Yeah.
So, John, last question for you.
Sure.
How do you expect things to change, let's say, in the next 18 months or so?
Well, you were in the business. I was in the business in 2008, 2009. I don't think we're going to have the same sort of, true trough that we went through at that point in time. I think that what's going to probably happen is we're going to flatten out. I think people are going to go back to a more normal marketplace. I think there's going to be a lot less demand out there for homes because the supply is going to go up, the inventory is going to go up, and hopefully there'll be some normalcy in terms of inspections, and people will say, yeah, we need to get this done. Everybody goes back to sort of that process of letting the buyer have the time to really investigate the things that they need to investigate to determine whether or not it's something that they want to pursue. So I'm hoping that it's sort of a soft landing, not jumping off a diving board into a empty pool.
I fully agree. I don't think there's going to be that big dip like we saw with the crash. So that's awesome stuff. I really appreciate that, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Greg, you got your hat on backwards, ready to rock and roll.
Let's do this.
Tell me a little bit about what sets Desert Dragon Painting apart from other painting companies. Full disclosure, I've used you guys on my personal house twice now, and you guys do work for HomeQwik. So I know why, but you tell me why.
Well, I think the first and most important thing to mention is that we're licensed, bonded, and insured. And contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of people practicing in the state that frankly shouldn't be because they're not licensed to do so and they're not insured. Those two things are frankly extremely important because when people are on site at other people's homes, if they're not insured and something happens, the responsibility falls onto the homeowner to a certain extent. Going with a reputable company that's licensed to perform the scope of work that's cited is also super important. Contracting without a license in Arizona is actually a pretty serious offense. The ROC does not take it lightly.
Absolutely.
And a lot of folks hire painters and they don't realize that they're not really hiring painters. They're hiring people that say that they're painters but are not recognized to do so by the state.
My wife can hold a paintbrush, but she's not a painter, right?
Yep.
And you guys know, because you went through our semi-egregious vendor agreement that we use for HomeQwik, we require you guys to be insured and carry workman's comp.
Yep.
Just my personal house now that you're in, I think my ceiling's 15 feet high at the apex.
Yep.
And I know you had people on ladders, so
100%.
I think that's a great point. I mean, we can't use anybody that's not licensed, bonded, insured. We also require that workman's comp. So I think that's great advice. You hire somebody off Craigslist, you might be looking for somebody that wants to fall off a ladder, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I know you guys do interior and exterior paint jobs. Obviously, you probably don't love exterior paint jobs in the summer here, but what are ideal projects for you guys with Desert Dragon?
Yeah, we specialize in full interiors and full exteriors. That's sort of our bread and butter, and we feel like we can do it better than other companies because of our attention to detail, our communication skills, and our client centrism. We're extremely concerned about the welfare of our clients and the properties that they have, whether they're living there or not, because we work with investors, we work with property managers, we take care of these homes like they're our own. When we arrive, we like to leave them sort of in better shape than when we got there, certainly. And full interiors for this sort of portion of the year where it's super hot outside and it's raining, and there's mosquitoes and higher ambient humidity and other things that cause issues with painting exteriors. And then on the other half of the year when it's nice outside and it's not raining and it's, really ideal for us to get all the exterior stuff done, we prefer full exteriors when it's cold.
So HOAs hopefully aren't demanding exterior paint jobs on entire communities in the month of August. I'm sure you see it, but so you're saying push back the exteriors till it cools off, get out of the humid season, wait till it cools off a little. So it actually leaves a better product at the end, right?
It does. Folks don't know, but spray rates actually change based off of how hot it is, which makes sense. And the higher the ambient humidity or just monsoons or blowing dust, all of that stuff can affect a property very easily. We could pressure wash a house and a dust storm can come in and sure. It's done. That has to be redone.
Well, I mean, that all makes sense, but I think you're right. I think people don't think about that when they're thinking about getting a paint job. So
yeah, that's
good advice. Tell me a little bit about, I know you guys offer some different things. Are there any unconventional type services that you guys offer?
Quite a few, actually. We do drywall hanging and repair. We do popcorn ceiling removal, retexturing. We do stucco work. We do some light masonry stuff. We do cool decks. Wow. We do epoxy. We do some carpentry. It all sort of comes into the scope of work, because sometimes people will say, hey, this fascia is really damaged. We want you to paint the house, but we also need this section of fascia replaced.
I see it all the time.
Yeah, we do.
So what's really popular right now is cabinet painting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys did that at my house. I'll throw a picture at the end of this, a couple of pictures of our kitchen. People think our cabinets are brand new. Yes. And look, I just moved to Arrowhead, and I swear we made 14 offers before we got this one. Every house we went in was literally original, 30 years old. The fixtures, the paint, the popcorn ceilings, all of that stuff. So if you're living in Arrowhead, call these guys. They'll get rid of that popcorn for you. But I was seeing original exterior paint jobs too, and bad fascia and all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
And I think what's missing sometimes for people on the stucco side is they let the paint go for a very long time, and then the stucco gets destroyed to a point that now you have a major stucco
issue. Yeah. What systemic stucco issues? We will regularly go out to paint consults on exteriors, and folks will have waited 10 years to get the house painted, 15, right? Sometimes even longer. And they have major repairs, easily sometimes 5+ digits. And it's really sad to see people sort of expect that there isn't going to be some big charge ultimately to get that stuff repaired the right way when neglected the house.
It's deferred maintenance, right? It's stuff you don't think about every day, but you got to get it done. My brother-in-law lives south of the one in Arrowhead on the golf course, and he just had to repaint his entire view fence. It's trash from all the sprinklers from the golf course, and it's in direct sunlight. So he got away with painting it to make the HOA happy, but it's something I was like, dude, you should have been painting this every few years just to help protect from the sun and the water, right?
Yeah.
So, and I saw that on his block wall and on some of his stucco too. So other really great points. Well, guys, I never like to keep these too long because they're supposed to be quick chats, but I'm a talker. John's definitely a talker too. So I loved having you guys. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to do this. John, I look forward to getting you guys some home inspections on some of my new deals when I'm working with buyers. And Greg, you already know, man, you guys do great work with Desert Dragon Painting. So I encourage everybody to check both of the options out to use you guys for business. Any other final comments from you?
No, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Noel.
All right, guys, we appreciate you. Anybody watching, you've seen their contact info. You know how to get a hold of them. And like I said, you can count on the referral from me. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Noel.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Rent homes quick.
We will.